Hello my friends and welcome once again to this Red Gaming Tech video with myself and Marta. Hope you guys are having a good day. As always, I'm here with the latest news from the tech and gaming world from the last 24 or so hours as of the 30th of September. Now in case you guys weren't aware, I'm going to be away for a few days just with my family, so you guys will be in the capable hands of Paul until I return. So, we've got quite a bit to get through today, so I'm just going to get stuck right into our first topic, which is Starfield. Now obviously, as everyone and their dog knows at this point, Microsoft made a huge move recently by purchasing ZeniMax, which of course includes Bethesda, amongst many other things obviously, but we're talking about Starfield here. So obviously this raises a lot of questions about what's going to happen with the games. Are there going to be any exclusives? And I think Starfield has been one of the bigger question marks given how little we actually know about the title. Now I will say before I go any further that officially Microsoft are still saying that they'll decide exclusivity of Bethesda games on a case-by-case basis. There is a new blog post which I think at least gives some hints as to which way they're leaning for Starfield. Now these comments were made again in a new blog post which you will find linked below by the Xbox Gaming Partnerships and Ecosystem VP Sarah Bond, and she said, quote, "One of the things that has me most excited is seeing the roadmap with Bethesda's future games coming to Xbox console and PC, including Starfield, the highly anticipated new space epic currently in development by Bethesda Game Studios." Now obviously we can't take that as a confirmation, but it does seem to me that we're looking at least timed exclusivity, because she never uses the word exclusive there, but that doesn't necessarily mean a whole bunch. It definitely seems that it's coming to Xbox and PC, whether that's first or full-time exclusive, we just don't know. Of course, we should wait for any official statement. Oh, and this is kind of not related to her comments, but something you guys are interested in, or you might be interested in, excuse me, if you are interested in Starfield, which I think you are if you're watching this particular segment of the video. You may have seen there were some leaked screenshots doing the rounds. They will not be in this video, but they will be linked below in another article, so go check those out. And also there are claims that Bethesda is targeting a 2021 release for the game. So I'll say that the screenshots that have been leaked are apparently from a very early build, so if you do go check them out, do keep that in mind. They do look a little rough, to say the least, but do keep in mind that allegedly these are from an alpha build. I'm looking forward to Starfield, actually. I mean, I'm definitely going to wait for reviews, because Bethesda have definitely burned me a few too many times at this point to pre-order or anything like that. To be fair, I basically never pre-order these days. But regardless, I'm looking forward to Starfield. I think it could be interesting, but ultimately I hope it's just fun to play. Anyway, we're going to move on to our next topic, which again is regarding the Xbox Series X and Quick Resume. Now, obviously, we've known that Quick Resume is a thing for some time now. Microsoft have announced it a while back, but just as a quick sort of refresher, it is obviously the ability for the Xbox Series X to run multiple games at the same time by storing them, and you can seamlessly switch between your game of choice in seconds. But obviously, we haven't really known the limits of this feature until, well, very recently, as reviewers and influencers and so on are getting their hands on units before launch, ready for their reviews or whatever. Now, according to an article by Kit Guru, and you of course can find it linked in the description below this video, according to various hands-on previews, the Xbox Series X can cache nearly a dozen games through Quick Resume. Now that of course is very impressive, but it is worth saying that the maximum number of games does depend on the games themselves, but that's not really surprising. Obviously, you're not going to be able to store 12 big budget AAA full fat blockbusters on the console at the same time. There are obviously limits, but if you've got a few smaller games, games that run at lower resolution, say you've got indie games or perhaps just backwards compatible games that are running at 1080p or lower resolutions, that is when we get up to the higher numbers of, 6, 8, 10, 12, etc. Now, Microsoft didn't actually say a limit themselves when they announced this, but they did say that it can support 3 games at minimum. So 3 to 4, I would say, is a reasonable expectation for a AAA game, but you can definitely get up to the higher numbers if you've perhaps got smaller games or games running at lower resolutions running at the same time. But we have actually learned something else thanks to all of this research done by folks who've been lucky enough to get their mitts on a unit early. And they said that the Xbox Series X reportedly takes roughly 10 seconds, sometimes even less, to switch between games through Quick Resume. But again, this does vary based upon the game itself. Not really surprising based on everything I've just said. But it's still really nice to have this feature, to be honest. Personally, I don't really think it's going to be useful for me, just because I typically don't really play multiplayer games, and that's really where I can see this coming in handy. Like, say for example, you're playing a single player game and you haven't had a save spot in a while and you don't know when the next one's going to be, but your friend messages you like, hey, you want to have a quick game of Dead by Daylight or whatever, just to pull a multiplayer game out of the air. And you're like, yeah, sure, but obviously you don't lose your progress, so you minimise it and then you carry on and then you come back. Or it could just be you're kind of like me and you've got a few games on the go at the same time and you just want to have them there, kind of switch between depending on your mood or whatever. Yeah. I don't think many people are going to have 12 games in their resume queue at once, but it's still cool to know that you can do it if you want to. But from the good news, we're going to move on to some kind of news regarding the PS5. Now, as I'm sure you guys are aware, the PlayStation 5 pre-order situation is, let's just say it's a bit of a mess. I think that's putting it politely. Various stores, especially here in the UK, it's just honestly a disaster area. But according to an article by Video Games Chronicle, GameStop's Irish stores are not going to be able to send out all pre-orders in time for release day. They've obviously been sending out messages to some people who got pre-orders, informing them that their console will not be with them until 2021, which is kind of insane. But they did say it was due to, quote, circumstances out of their control, which does sound like, to me, like it's a lack of allocation. And this isn't just happening to GameStop also. This actually, something similar happened to me, I will say, to the retailer Shop2. So basically they had a system where you could register your interest before the pre-orders actually went live, and they charged you a penny to do this. So I did that about a week before the pre-orders went live, just because really I thought, just in case, whatever. And I spent the whole day that the pre-orders went live trying to get onto the website to confirm my pre-order, but their website was just breaking into pieces under the weight of all these people trying to get on. And it took me all day just to log into my account. I had to reset my password like 2 times, even though that the password was right, just because it kept saying, sorry, your password's expired. And I'm just like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Anyway, long story short, I got an email a few days later, and I'm not getting a PS5 for launch day. Now, I will say that it's not saying 2021. I just don't know when I am getting it. It's not for launch day. That's basically it. And again, it's not just these two. It's Amazon and various other places that are just not being able to keep up with the insane level of demand. And Sony have obviously told these stores what their allocation is, which is why they're now sending out these emails about a week after the pre-orders went up, I think. Something like that, anyway. So, not a great situation all round, to be honest. There's many people that have had their orders outright cancelled, or like me, they're just kind of left in limbo, not know what's going on. And obviously the chances of getting a new pre-order are very, very slim. So, oh dear, is what I will say. Oh dear. But we're going to move on from that to some other PS5 news regarding some features that have been discovered in some source code. So this code was discovered on the web-based version of the PlayStation Store, and some folks over on Reddit, and of course you can find a link to the Reddit thread in the description below this video, took it upon themselves to try and see if they could get any spicy details for us from the code. So, it seems that wish lists will finally be integrated into the console. It says, well, there's a line of code that says, quote, your wish list isn't available on this website, you can find it on a PS5. And it also seems like you can create parties with up to 100 people and share music playlists with your friends, and there's something called a, quote, takedown, but who knows what that even is at this point. One other cool thing that we can also glean from this is that backwards compatible titles that support the boost mode feature of the PS5 will have a helpful marking to let you know, and there will also be a warning for the 1% of games that aren't playable on the next gen console. So nothing game changing here. We haven't found a secret code that shows you what the UI looks like or anything like that. I mean, that wouldn't obviously be a thing on the web-based store, but I'm just saying it's still some nice hints at the features that we are going to be getting next month. Of course, US and the rest of the world gets it before Europe and all that good stuff, but still, I'm looking forward to this generation. Obviously, the pre-order situation is not great, and knowing my luck, my copy of Demon's Souls is going to turn up before I even have a PS5 to play it on, just so I can sit there looking sad as rain goes on the window outside and it's all black and white and sepia, and I'm just got a single tear running down my cheek looking at the case. But, you know, that's life sometimes. Anyway, we're going to move on now to our last topic of today, which is regarding Ryzen 5000. So these rumours come to us today thanks to Yuri Bubbly? I'm not sure on the pronunciation, I do apologise, but they are the creator of Clock Tuner for Ryzen, and they've made some interesting assertions over on Twitter, basically stating that AMD will launch its Ryzen 5000 series processors on October the 20th. Now they do state Zen 3, 20th of October for the 5800X and 5900X, Navi 2 on between the 15th and 20th of November. And they do state that it is old information, but according to them, they can see that AMD has not adjusted their plans. Now, I just want to say that we were told in some exclusive information that it was going to be the 11th of October, but we were told that that date could shift either forward or backwards because it was not set in stone. So we kind of got a little bit of a rough window of when we can expect Ryzen 5000 to launch, at least for the 5800X and 5900X. But there's also some more information that surfaced shortly after this tweet from computerbase.de, and according to them, they also received information that AMD may launch the Zen 3 series on October the 20th or the 27th. So it definitely does seem that AMD is still deciding on the dates, since there's so much uncertainty even in these rumours. But we'll most likely find out before too long, because of course the official announcement is happening on October the 8th. And AMD will most likely share with us then when we can expect these products to actually launch out into the wild. But as Paul and I have both said billions of times at this point, stuff like this can change literally last minute. So just keep that in mind, but we do at least have a rough idea of when to expect it, but pinch of salt TM definitely required. Anyway, that is me done for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, support is highly appreciated. Do remember to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. It does help out a great deal. And do check out the link in our description for our Discord if you so desire to come have a chat with us and some other fans that have very gracefully joined the server. Anyway, I'm done. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.